Hey everyone, and welcome to today's lesson about points, lines, and planes. Points, lines, and planes are the foundation of geometry. A point indicates a location but has no size. So a point, just like a little dot right here, and a point can be referred to as a letter. If you're given multiple points, we can refer to the distance between 2 points by putting the letters that correspond to those points right next to each other. So saying AB right next to each other, that would mean the distance between A and B. Alright, now a line. A line is represented by a straight path that extends in 2 opposite directions without end and really has no thickness. A line contains infinitely many points. Alright, we'll squeeze that end down there. Now, a line, as shown here, talking a little notation here, a line has to contain at least 2 points, and if points A and B both lie on the line, I can call this line line AB, and notice how I have above a little line with arrows on both sides, or I could call this line BA. Okay, so a line can be named by using any 2 points on that line in any order. Lastly, we've got a plane. And a plane is represented by a flat surface that extends without end and has no thickness. A plane contains infinitely many lines. Well, I wrote that word many twice. How about that? It contains infinitely many lines. I like to think of a plane as kind of like a piece of paper, right? It's that flat surface, and you can draw points and lines all on that paper. All right, a couple more terms for you. If I have points that lie on the same line, we say that those points are collinear. And down below there, points that lie on the same plane, those are what are called coplanar. All right, so points that are on the same line, they are collinear, and points that lie in the same plane are coplanar. All right. Now, we've also got some variations on points and lines. We've got what we call a segment. And a segment is part of a line that consists of 2 endpoints and all points between them. So it's important to know that a segment has 2 endpoints. Where a line keeps going in both directions, a segment definitely ends those 2 spots. Now some notation. If I call these points A and B, this would be segment AB or segment BA. Okay, notice I can write those endpoints in any order, but above I have a segment. It has arrows on neither end, and this shows that this is a segment and it stops at 2 endpoints. Next, we've got array. An array is a part of a line that consists of 1 endpoint and all of the points on the line on one side of that endpoint. So array has that point and then it goes on forever and ever in just one direction. Now, notationally, if this is point A, I also need another point on the ray, and we'll say that's point B. So the ray is labeled as such, with the endpoint coming first. I'm actually going to write that and have you write that down. The endpoint comes first. Okay, and then you need any other point that's on the ray, and then above it you've got an endpoint that comes first and then an arrow to one side. Alright, Now, we can also talk about what are called opposite rays. Okay? And opposite rays are two rays that share the same endpoint and then form a line. So let's throw some points on this down here, and we're going to call this point in the middle X, and then to one side I've got point A, and to the other side point B. So I have two opposite rays here. One ray is ray XA, and you can see that X is the endpoint, and I'm heading in the direction of A. Let's put that in blue. So you can see here is X A. I've also got ray XB. Okay, it starts at X, right, and then goes in the direction of B. When those two rays are together, they form a line. All right, let's have you do some work. Make sure you are on page 4 of your packet, and I'd like you to try questions 1 through 6. Please pause the video at this time, complete 1 through 6, and then check your answers. All right, here we go. Looking at line GH, we should have a line that has arrows on both sides, and that line contains points G and H. Ray, JK, we can tell it's a ray because it has an arrow on just one side. J comes first, so that has to be the endpoint, and then K is a point on the ray. This is segment ST. That tells me I'll have endpoints at both ends. So this is S and now T. Great, moving on. I've got this line with several points on it. We're going to name this line in 3 different ways. Now I'm going to give you 3 ways to name the line. There are many ways that you could do it. This line could be named UV. And of course I have to have that line above. This line could be named WX, or even XY. Again, those aren't the only 3 names, those are 3 examples. I'll put example over here just so you know. In number 5, let's in 3 different ways name the ray with endpoint X. So let's highlight where that is. Here's endpoint X, and it contains the point W. So that means it's moving in this direction. Okay, so 3 different ways we could name that. We got to make sure they all start with X. I could say it's XW with my ray up top. It's XV, again with my ray up top. Or it could be XU with my ray up top. Okay? Lastly, in 3 different ways, name the ray opposite to VU. Alright, so VU is this ray down here. So the ray opposite to VU I'm going to do in black. Means it's going this way. Alright, so the ray opposite to VU has to start with V, but now that ray could be VW, could be VX, or it could be VY. Alright, there you have it. Hope you enjoyed, learn a little bit about points, lines, and planes. Your next steps are to complete pages 4 and 5, and when you're all finished and feeling confident, you'll then take the Math Excel quiz. That's all for now.